Hi everybody, this is Mama Sue, and today we're going to be making this wire wrapped earring. Isn't that cool? Now why I'm calling it wire wrapped is because this piece in the middle, I have wire wrapped this bead into the jewelry, and I've also wire wrapped it down here on the bottom. And then when we make the circle, we wind the edge of the circle around like that. Well, anyway, but we're going to be using a bigger bead. Let me show you what we're going to do. I've got these two wires that I cut. These are copper. And what I did is I cut one about 5 inches. That's probably too much, but it's better to have plenty than not enough. And then this one is 7 inches. I cut this one 7 inches. So to start with, what I want to do is I want to take, let me get my flat nose. Here's my flat nose pliers. And I'm just going to take the long one and put it right in my flat nose pliers like that. But I want it right to the edge. I don't want it to go over the edge. I want it flush with the edge. See how it's flush right there? And then once it's in there, I'm going to pull it straight down like that, which gives me a nice little L. See there? Oh, it looks better on the white. Oh yeah, that's a nice one. And then I'm going to take my pliers. Now I went ahead and I painted my pliers red and black, so that I don't know if you can see that or not. I might have to go yellow. But anyway, I put my pliers right in that tip of that L. And I'm going to put it right here, right on my mark. I marked my pliers so that I knew right where my wire was going to go to make the next circle. And then I pushed the wire toward you, away from me, until I get down to this point here. Now I didn't go all the way around, so I need to turn my pliers just like this. Now, what I did is I just turned my pliers a little bit over further so that I could get all the way around this wire. Now I'm pulling it up. Now it's all the way around. See? Now I'm going to take this wire right here. I'm going to put my pliers right in right there. And I'm going to pull this straight down to line up with this piece here. So here I go. Putting it in there. I'm holding on to it and I'm pulling straight down. See how I just pulled it straight down? I made a little circle on the top there. Now that will match the circle I have on this, because when I used this, it left it as a measurement, and I put my circle right where I marked for this one. I hope I'm making that clear to you, because I'm confusing myself. Okay, now what I want to do is I want to hold this right where that line ends right there. See where it stops? I want to hold it right there with these flat nose pliers and just pull it backwards like this. Now I've got it pulled to one side. See there? Let me get this out of the way. Now I've got it pulled to one side so you can see what I got there. Oh, let me move my hand. It looks better on the white. Okay, and now I'm going to get out my my medicine bottle. I use medicine bottles to make my circles a lot of times. Sometimes I just form them with my hands, but a lot of times I do it this way. Now, here's a smaller bottle I have in the middle. That's the size that's for this earring. And I just cut off the edge of the bottle so that I could put it inside the big bottle, like that. Now, this was from some kind of spool of thread, and it was smaller than this, so I put that right down in that one and just keep them all together. And I only have to save one lid, and I've got all three of my sizes right in this one container. I'm trying to give you these little hints so you don't have to buy all this stuff. Okay, I'm going to put that one in there for now because this is the one we're using. So now what I want to do is I want to sit this. See the bottom of the bottle? I go pretty close to the bottom of the bottle. I hold on to it with my thumb and I start rolling it around and to the other side, just like that. You know, it's just like that right now. Now I'm going to get it on there. Now I'm going to tighten it because I'm going to push this together kind of tight, and I'm going to grab my pliers and I'm going to pull as I turn this around that post in the middle. Now I'm going to straighten this if you have to, because mine got crooked too. Then I'm going to grab a piece right here and just start twisting it. And twisting it. And twisting it. I'm going to twist it until it stops. Ooh, I didn't put too much on here. I put it just about right. 7 1/4 is what I used on this one. I said 7 inch, but it was a little about 1/4 over. So it was pretty close. Now I'm squishing that down because I'm trying to squish down that piece, that leftover piece in the back. So I want to make sure that that's the back of my earring. See, get a hold of that, press it down. There, now I got it back there. I had a hard time pushing that back there. Now I'm going to pull it off of this, and we've got 2 perfect size rings. See there? And even the wraps, 1 2 3 4 5, 1 2 3. Well, one of them has 4, so I guess it doesn't matter. It looks pretty close. Oh, this is the back. Let me check the other side. 1 2 3 4 5. Yeah, on the right side, it's right. Now, I just want to bring these up. I just pushed that back in. That was a bigger circle, but I pushed it back in. Okay, there we go. Now it's back where it should be. Yeah, that's pretty close. I just want them to be pretty close so that they look good when I put them on the ear wires. Now I want to go around this whole thing and just squash the wire. Just little places. I'm just putting a little squash here and there. I'll show you next to each other after I do this. Then you can see what it really looks like. Okay, now that I got that little bit of squash in there, I want you to see the difference. See, one of them has this one has the scored type look in it, and this one is the smooth one. Now I want them like this because I want them to look rustic with this kind of earring. See how I've got it in this one? When you color it, you can really see the difference. So I'm going to go around and I'm going to get all of this. Now you could also hammer it, but it's pretty quick doing it this way. And if you hammer it, sometimes you end up hammering it too thin, or it looks a little different. But I mean, it's nice. Just don't go overboard on your hammering, because I want it to stay kind of in the same, I want it to stay close to the same size. When you're hammering it, you're going to get it a little bigger. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my fingers in like this and just pull. So I'm elongating it. Now I'm going to move it with my fingers to where it looks like a teardrop. Now that's not a bad teardrop. See there? And then it's got all that texture on it now. From this to this. Okay, now I'm going to get this one, and then I'm going to pull it. Because I want to keep these going at the same time to make sure we get everything pretty much the same. Ooh, you're probably going to like the beads I chose. I chose these. They're bigger, but they're really quite shiny. See that twinkle in there? And then I'm going to squash the rest of this. Now I'm just going up and down, just in places where I think it needs a little more. Okay, that's good. Now I'm going to put my two fingers in there, just like that. And I'm going to, let me move this stuff so you can see. Put my two fingers in there, and I'm just going to pull. And there, I've elongated it. It would even work like that, but I like to teardrop them. I like the way it looks with a teardrop. Just has a nice clean look to it. Now I'm going to put it up to this one. Ooh, that's the back. And that's the front. Yeah, these are the same count when you got them in the right direction. It's the back that it messes you up a little bit. But there's our two teardrops right there. And they're pretty close. I'm not real picky about these because they're going to be the rustic style. I do like it to be uniformed a bit, but it's not something that's you got to get perfect. This one has to come out more. Well, there they are. I'm going to turn this a little bit because I don't like that right there. That's pretty darn close. Anyway, I'm going to put this back in its container, then I won't lose it because I misplace things all the time. And we don't need it anymore for this pair of earrings. Okay, now that that's taken care of, I want to get to this part. What I'm going to do is, like this one, I already put a wire wrap on it. I put a wire wrap on that side and that side. Now I've just got to wire wrap it to the inside of one of these. Just to the inside. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this out to the angle I want it on here. Then I'll mark those and bend them down, because the marker will come off of it. So on this one, I am going to mark it. I kind of like how it is right now. So I'm going to mark it here. And probably about here. That looks okay. Yeah, that looks good. I like them to be close to the same. Let me see. This one's a little bit off, so I'm going to take this one down just a little bit more. Yeah, that's, see, I've got them both marked. And the reason I have them marked is because I want to take, just grab your flat nose, or if you want to, you can even grab a needle nose plier. You're going to go up to that mark and put your needle nose right on that mark. See that mark right there? I'm going to go just on the other side of it, right there. And I'm going to pull straight down. Then I'm going to come over here and do the same thing on this side and pull straight down. Now that's ready to get cut off and placed on here. See, you're already seeing that this is a simple earring. Isn't that cool? When you mark it, you can put it right there where you want it, just like this one, except a bigger bead and a little bigger frame. Okay, I'm going to leave that right there for a minute. Well, you know what? I'm going to cut off these pieces right here. But I'm going to first put my circle in there, and I'm going to squish it this way, so it's ready to be squashed on to the earring when I cut it off. See? Now they're just like that. Oh, can you see? Now they're just like that. They're both flattened down. I'm going to try it on one more time before I cut them. And looky there. That, oops. Well, for a second, when I hook that on, then I will come up here and I'll squash these down here. But I'm going to cut them off just a little bit. I mean, just to make them fit, so there's just a little bit left. And that'll be what squashes them down and keeps them in place. So I have clippers. Yeah, here they are. I'm going to use my my cutter, and flush side is always against the project that you're against the part that you're keeping. I cut that off, and that's nice and flat there. And then I'm going to come over here and get this one. Let me get up there where you can see me. Now I'm going to get over here and get this one and cut it off right about there. See? Just little overhangs that I can squash down after I get this wrapped on to this piece. Now I've got to show you how to make this piece here. What I do is I take that 5-inch wire that I had. Now you see I only cut this and this off that 5-inch wire, so I didn't waste a whole lot. But what I want to do is I want to find the center. I want to find, oh, this is around the center. Yeah. And then I'm just going to pull it up just like that. You see that? I just pulled it up. It was down, and I pulled it up just over the highest place on my round nose, up here at the top. Now I have to make it a little wider because my bead won't fit in there, you see? It's too tight for my bead. So to do that, I just grab my flat nose, or I mean one of my I forgot what it's called. Oh my goodness. Here I go again. Now I'm just squishing down on the wire. I'm going to embellish the wire anyway, so it doesn't matter if I scratch it. Now, did I embellish this one? No, I didn't even embellish this one yet. Well, let's pull that open for a minute and take care of business, because I don't want to put it in the stuff to tarnish it till after this is done, because it gives it a better look. Okay, that's good on that one. Let's get over to this one. Most of this will be covered, so we really don't need it down there. It's best to do these wires before you start bending and everything. Then you don't have to worry about this, but I wanted to make sure I showed you. Now I'm going to bend this. Now I bent it back where it was. Well, I might be a little bit off. Hang on a second. Okay, that's good right with that. I believe. Oh yeah, that'll be good. See there? That's where that is. Oh, here it is. I'm going to sit that right on there. See, I just hook it on, and it's right in the place it should be. See there? Now I'm going to go to the next one, and I'm going to put this up here and see if I've got it squashed enough. It needs to be a little bit fatter. So I'm going to take that same pair of pliers and just push down on it, and it moves the size of the wire a lot. See what I mean? It fixes your shape just by squashing right in that area. Now I've got it enough now, because I can put my bead up in there. Isn't that awesome? And then if I put it over here, you'll see that the round part of this, that's pretty close. Now normally you would do this all at the same time, but I tried to get part of the earring done so that the video wouldn't be too long. But as you can see, it's not taking that long anyway. Now here's the other one. Here's the one we made. Now we're going to attach this bead to the center of this wire. What I've done is this is 24 gauge. This here. This one here. I believe this was 18 gauge here, or 16. I think this was 16 gauge. And then this is 24 gauge. Now I am going to start wrapping right here. I'm going to start wrapping right here before I put the bead on. Oops, I'm going in the wrong direction. I'm supposed to wrap downward. Oopsie. Okay. Let's try that again. It's supposed to go this way around. Now I'm wrapping around and wrapping it around. I wrapped it around about 5 times on each side. Now that's 5 times. Now I'm going to put my pliers on there and just squish these wires together. See there? Nice little squish. I'm going to pull this before I cut it off. And I'm going to pull this. And this will be the front side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And this will be the back side over here. And I'm going to cut it off right there in the back. Excuse me. Okay, I'm going to cut that off right there. That little bitty piece. Now I'm going to just squash it there. I kind of, see how I just turned my pliers. This little thin wire is real easy like that to give it any movement. Now I'm going to put my bead on the wire. And I want this to hang on a second. I got to get my fingers right. Now I'm going to start like I'm just going to pretend this is a sewing needle. And I'm just going to do a little roundabout here, sewing it through the hole, and oh my goodness, broke my wire. Well, I've got enough on there that I don't have to worry a whole lot. I don't know how I broke my wire. It normally works pretty good. Okay, now this is enough to go around, and it's about 5. Boy, I got lucky. Okay, now I'm going to just push it down so that it's about the same as this one in distance from the bottom. I want it pushed down there to where I just have a little room to get through to put a wire through there. Now that's just about right. Now I've got to do the turning here. I'll go this route. And there again, I forgot to, see, that's why I like to do this first, because I forget to put the little bit of texture in there before I do anything else. I like to get that texture in there. And I would, if I were you, I didn't do it that way, but if I were you, I would do all that before you get started. I mean, right after you cut that wire, you know, put your texture in there, because you're going to appreciate it once we stick these in that. We're going to be sticking it in liver of sulfur, and it will change it to a dark color immediately. Now, I think I've got enough texture in there. See? It didn't take very long. Now I'm going to do it. Ha, ha. Okay, now let me check this next to this one. See if I got them in the right place and all that good stuff. Looks like I need it a little bit bigger. Let me check it again. I just want to make sure these are about the same size when I'm done doing what I'm doing. This one needs to go up a little. It's kind of measuring them. It's like a measuring game here. This one still is a little bit smaller in size. But I haven't put this in yet, so I could change this one too. That's getting pretty close. I'm going to pull that wire back up because my wires move until I get that attached real good. Okay, let me see. Oops, wrong way. This way? This way. No, this is the right way. I'm thinking, no, that's good like that. And this one is that on top? No, it's not on top. There's the top. Okay. Now I've got it in the right place. Let me tighten this wire a little bit, because when I move that, see, tightening it, all I got to do is twist it right on the wire that I wrapped, and it tightens it up. If you want to tighten it up on both sides, just do it on both. Just don't break your wire while you're doing it, like I did. I've never had that happen before, where my wire broke like that, I don't think. But, you know, at my age, I may have forgotten. Okay, let me see. That looks pretty good. That looks pretty good. Now I want to see if these are the same. Yeah, those are pretty close. Okay. Now I want to see it on here. I'm going to leave that one right on there like that. And then I'm going to put this one over here and mark it, like we marked the other one before we got busy. Pulling this down. Okay. So I'm going to want this, oh, right about, that looks like a pretty good place right there. What do you think? Yep, let me get it where you can see it. See there? And there. Those look pretty good. So I'm going to go ahead and mark this one and get it cut off, because we're almost done with this earring. Okay, right here. And right about here. Does that look even? Yeah, looks pretty even. And so now I'm going to bend them down again like I did before. I'll just do it with the needle nose. Remember, I put it right on that dot and I bent it straight back. On the dot, straight back. See there? Now I'm going to take my round nose and finish turning it down. And then I'm going to turn this one down. Now, to make sure it's the right size, I'm going to sit it on my earring. And what do we have here? I think we have an ooh la la. That's good. Oops. That looks good to me. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take another one of these little wires here, and we're going to stick it right up through the bottom. See what I'm doing? I've got that right underneath those two wires, the wire of the jewel and the wire the base wire. And then I'm just going to hold on to this one side, and I'm going to roll it around one time, and then I'm going to feed it through the bottom carefully so I don't break my wire again. And then I'm going to, let me grab this. I'm going to grab my needle nose, and I'm going to use that to do this. Sewing pin. Now, can you see what I'm doing? I'm bringing this up like this, and then I'm turning the wire and going back down in. And I'm making sure, well, that was kind of a messy one. What I'll try to do is make sure this stays up like that. And my wire stays next to each other instead of on top of next to each other instead of on top of each other. So I'm going to keep going here. See how I'm bringing that right down there? I'm going to keep going here. Get down there. Till I got a good tight base there. This part goes. This earring itself is see how nice that's coming out? Can you see those wires on there? It's coming out nice and smooth. That's what we want. Then this one I could just turn upward and go through. And upward. I'm going to have to tighten that one down. Okay, see how you've got your nice little base right there from wire wrapping. I'm going to tighten that just a little bit more and maybe do a couple more loops. Or shoot, I don't need any more loops. That looks pretty good to me. I like it right there. See there? The loops don't look good there. So I'm going to cut it off in the back, because I'm really happy with that. And then I'm going to squash it down. These are easy to squash down because they're so tiny. And then squish them together. You want to keep these all squished together. Now I brought it down all the way to where the bead touches the bottom now. Then I'm going to make them 3D. I'm going to kind of bend this wire upward. I'm bending this all upward so that it's got kind of a 3D effect, because it really looks cool like that when after you darken them. It really looks cool, you know, but that's coming out really nice. Now I've just got to squish these two sides, and then I can tarnish it. And tarnishing is very easy. Now I'm going to put my pliers right around this wire right here. Right here. See that? I'm going to put it right there. I'm going to squash it down. Oh, maybe. Okay, there, I got it down. I just want it to stay in line. I want it to stay in line with that. See how it stays in line? I want that to stay right in line with that, and just be a place that just keeps it secure, holding it on. Now I'm going to squash this one down. And it's basically just touching the other side of the wire like you were making a circle or something. See? Now this one's ready to tarnish. It looks really cool. Let me move this up just a little. Oops, I was going to cut it. Move it up just a little bit, because I like these to be like saucer shaped in the center, so that it kind of sticks out. Looks really pretty when it gets colored. Now that is sticking out real nice on that one. That one's sticking out real nice. Now we're going to do this one. First, I'm going to cut off these wires like I did before. Okay, I'm going to cut off this wire right about here. Now remember, on this flat side of this thing, well, I'll have to find out what her name is, but this woman says anything below the flat side is your keeping part of the metal. So if you've got it this way, if you've got it the wrong way, where it's got the scoop in the middle, that's not something you're going to save. So you'll remember that she helped me so much remember to do it this way, because everything on this side is the saving piece. It's the jewelry piece, and it makes the flat part here. Now I'm going to stick this one on here. I like that. And I'm going to start putting the wire on this one, on that bottom part. Here's my little wire, and I'm going to start wrapping that thing. Okay. Okay, hold on a second. Okay, my pliers. Now I got that tight. Now I'm going to start doing the wrapping. I'm going to grab this and put it inside there and pull it tightly. And bend it again. That's what it is. I'm bending my wire too much. Okay, pull it through and make sure that it goes next to it instead of on top of it. This one got ready to go on top, and that is not happening in this party. Okay, now I'm gonna do this side a little bit. I've got enough to work with there. It's easier working with those smaller pieces anyway. Well, it seems like it's going pretty well there. Now I'm going to cut that off on that side. I want to see if this is about the same now. Yeah, it looks like, yeah, it's pretty darn close. I'm just going to leave it there, because that looks pretty close. Now all I have to do is cut off the wires, swoosh them down, and then squash these two. Then we'll color these things. Yeah, or stain them, or tarnish them. I knew it was I knew one of those words would finally come out. Now I've got those cut off, and I'm just going to squash down these little pieces by rolling it. Now that's pretty good. Now I'm going to squash down these two pieces so that they stay in place and stay on the piece. Now I'm going to get this other side and squish this down too. I'm touching the metal. I'm happy with that. When you touch the metal, I'm happy with it. Now I'm going to start doing the pushing up. You know how I made it, this one 3D? Look at the difference on these two earrings. This one sticks up some, and this one's not sticking up. So I'm going to start pushing up on this. When you push up, you're also tightening this. You know, wherever it's loose, you're kind of tightening that. And it just gives it a nice shape and it just makes all the difference and makes it just really cool. I still need to tighten these wires a little bit. I didn't get it quite tight enough. Twist. 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 Okay, that'll work great. Now, like I did before, I brought it down to the bottom. I like it down in the bottom. Looks cool. Now, let me see if these are close. Those are pretty darn close. What do you think? Pretty close? I get all excited when I get ready to tarnish these things because it just happens so quick. But before I do that, where is my finger things? I don't see my gloves. I might have to take it out with this because this stuff's not good for your skin when you're doing what I'm going to do next. Now I've brought some water in here, and I just put enough in there, you know, it's just covering the bottom. And then I got my liver of sulfur here, you know, liver of sulfur. Then you grab a piece out of here. Now, see, I get this kind that comes in chunks. A lot of people like to get the liquidy kind, but I really like this kind here because, like, I've had this, like, probably at least 2 years. I might be underestimating how long I've had it. I forget. But I'm just going to put a chunk in here, just like that. Then I'm going to close this up. Now this is going to smell like somebody's going to the bathroom, number 2. Fair warning. Be in a ventilated area. I got a fan going. And then you're going to want to stir that around. This is a piece of that metal. I'm going to stir it around and show you what happens. I'm just trying to stir this around. I want it to melt up a little bit. See how it's turning dark? It's turning kind of a yellowish green color in here. It's probably more yellow than anything. But look at my tool. It turned brown. See how it turned brown? Because I was stirring that, and this is real copper. Okay, I'm going to drop these in now. And drop the other one in. Now I'm just going to let them sit there just for a minute or two, and they are going to change colors quickly. Okay, I'm going to move them around. Move them around. Ooh, they're almost the right color. I don't know if I brought a napkin in here. Hang on a second. While that stuff's going, I'm looking for a napkin. And I don't have any in here. So what I'll do is I'll use my apron for now and then wash it. Oh, these are done. Look at that. That is all blackened now. I'm just drying this off a little bit. And then what I'm going to do after I do, now it's not silver anymore. Here's how it was. That much change. Look at that. From this to this. In that little bit of time, right to that. Now I'm going to sand that just a little bit, just to bring out some of the copper, so I can see some of the copper and it looks more antique. You know, more like this one is. You can see some of the copper coming through on wait, let me move this. Then I can bring things to where you can see them. There you go. Like this one has more of the copper showing. Let me show you. Up close, you can see that. See the copper coming through on this? And then on this one, you don't see the copper coming through. It just looks all black. But when I hit it with a file, it's going to look awesome. Okay, let me get this out. Okay, file. Okay, here's a nail file. So what I'm going to do is first I'm going to go over these little parts down here, because they really look awesome when you get them sanded a little bit. Those little places really are cool to sand. And this up. Now let me see. I'll show you the other one next to it after I do this and show you the difference. We do want to get it in the back some. But it's all in the crevices and everything. It's cool. There's no way you can sand it all off. I'm just going to squish this little piece up better. Okay. Woo-hoo-hoo. That's looking nice. Now let me put those together because I want you to see the difference. See, one of them, that's the one that I sanded on. And that's the black one right here. But see what a difference? Let me put it like this for you so you can see it on the white background. Can you see the difference? I hope you can see the difference. That's probably as close as I'm going to get, having a good picture of it. Okay, well, let's go ahead and sand the other one, and we'll get the hook on there, and we'll have these earrings done. Did that seem very hard? Because this is there's not very much wire wrap to this one. But at least you got a little bit of understanding of some wire wraps. Some wire wraps is just putting it on your, hooking it on by wire wrapping it. Then you got other ones that you really get busy on and that are a lot of work. I really don't like to get into those ones where you're having so much work to do. I'm filing that thing. I'm going to have to cut that off. I got one little wire here that wants to bug me. So it just had its last day. Okay. And I'm getting this back. Okay. There's our nicely tarnished rustic looking earrings. Aren't those cool like that? Let me get the earring wires on. Boy, I cut too many wires. It doesn't matter how, you're not using a lot of this. I just cut little wires. It's not really even a size, maybe 2 inches, 2.5 inches. It's not important to get that perfect. You could use one big strip and just keep using it on each of the earrings, although that would be a pain trying to wrap it around and sew it in there. Okay, now I'm going to get the earring wires on here, and as I always try to show y'all, I don't like ear wires when they're like this, because when it's down in my ear and laying straight down, my earring just pops out to the side like that. So I change it up a bit. What I do is I put my pliers right here, and I just bend it a little. Here, I'm just going to push it. I can push that stuff all the way up, put this on here, and bend it. Now, if you want that to stay in place, see how loose that is? On the French wires, you don't have that problem, but on these, you do. So what I do is, where'd it go? Oh, there it is. I take a little super glue. I hit it right here where it's going to be laying, and I put too much. And I just push it back down. And now we have a wire that's going to hang right on my ear. You see? Oops. You see there? Here's how it was. And here's how I like them. Because of the way my ears are, I don't know. Maybe other people don't have that problem, but I certainly do. Now I'm going to bend this one. I'm going to bend it a little bit, and then I'm going to pull these up so I can bend it the rest of the way. I'm just squishing it right there, and it'll bend. All I did was squish that bend, and that made it straight. Now I'm going to put my super glue on. And just push it down into place. Now when that dries, that's not going anywhere. Not with super glue on it. Now I'm going to put it on my earring. I'm going to hold that down because it's still wet. But I'm going to go ahead and put this on my earring. See here, I'm going to grab this wire right here, open it. The front side of my earring needs to go on first. So I'm going to put that on there. And then I'm going to close this wire. And there's that earring. Isn't that cool? That turned out really nice. I like that one. Then I'm going to show you some other ones too before I close up shop. Oh, wait. This is not black. What kind is that? This kind. It's black. Okay, I'm just moving that a little bit, pushing it up. See, you got to put glue because it'll come off if it's not like that. That's probably why they bent them like this. Now I'm putting, see that bend right there in the wire? I'm going to put this kind of far back on my pliers. And all I'm going to do is squish. And see, when I squished, it bent the wire back into place. Okay, my glue. Where's my glue? Here it is. I never leave this stuff open. Because, boy, it can make a mess if it gets all over things. Okay, it's down where it needs to go. I'm going to put the lid on this. And I'm going to open it up and put it on. Grabbing it right here in the back, pulling straight up, putting my front side down on it. And then I'm going to close the ring. There we go. Now you've got two gorgeous rustic looking earrings. Check those out. Is that nice? And you realize you can put lava in there and have a pair of lava earrings with this. I just decided to do something different because I have a lot of I've put lava on a couple times this week. So I thought I would just go that route. And see those little red beads, how pretty they are? I don't know if you can see that they're red. Let me put them against this. Can you tell that they're nice red? Not really. Okay, well that's that one. And then also, and then this here, actually, this is one of those fire polished beads that's glass, and that's what I liked about having this one in here. I don't know where the other earring is to this. I might have to make another earring. But anyway, now I've got some variations that I thought I would show you if you want more rustic looking. Now this is with a blue bead. And then what I've done is all I did was wrap a wire around, and it came around. I put it around the neck and had one side come out this side, one side come out this side, and then I just wrapped it, and then I keep getting out of your view. I just wrapped the wire around, you know. Well, that's the way I did it on some of them, not all of them. This one, I left the long end of this, and I just wrapped the long wire around and round till I got it to the top. And on this one too, it went this way. I just made them go different opposite ways around, but they both came over the top. But that's a really nice way to make it even more rustic if you want it to really be cowboy style. And then over here, I've got another one. Now these are just making them bigger and bulky. See? Now these are just big earrings here. See there? And that was made exactly the same as these blue ones. But they're super big. And then also I have one other one I did. I did this one. What I did is I tried to, these are pretty cute though. See how cute those are? After I tarnished them, I put some thin wire of copper. I put some thin copper right up these edges here. And I thought that was kind of cool. And it just made them a little bit different, but they're cool. Now, the reason I came up with this idea is I had put a bead here too, a smaller bead. And I didn't like the way it looked with the smaller bead because I had put I had cut this wire too small and it was down too low. And I didn't like it like that. So what I did, let me move this over. So what I did was went ahead and left it there. I tried to put a bead on there and I didn't like the way it looked like that. So then I just left the piece that was holding the bead on there and then wrapped this thinner copper around here, probably 24 gauge. You know, and that one does have a lava rock in it. Anyway, that's what I have for you today. All these beautiful, fun things to do and fun things to make. And I just want to wish you a great night's sleep, a great day, and God bless you.